Interesting.
Ah, Watcher. Good. You have arrived.
Chin jutting upward. He grants you a winsome smile. Left cheek dimpled as he smiles, spreads to show teeth.
Ahoy there yourself, Captain. What do I be but a pretty bit of man meat to dangle from a wrist? As easily forgotten as set aside.
Oh, come on, Seraphon, don't be a bitch about it. Toronto rubs his thumb over his golden swollen, violent thoughts gliding over his face like dark clouds. Then he smiles, but the vicious expression more than a pleasant
A
one.
little seabird informs me that you have dealt with our mutual problem. The scoundrel Benwet.
Kinda did, yeah, in the most brutish fashion, like, eons ago at this point.
Gelarde. For this you have my grandest commendation.
How nice of you.
You'd have been right amused, you would. Few sights as fine as that hard blowing three-sheeter getting what's long been doing.
You are lacking in so many ways, my former ship hunter, but no one can say you are not entertaining.
Well, yeah, for a while. Then he gets a bit annoying, honestly.
I myself would have enjoyed watching you put the scoundrel in his place.
Well, he kind of had it coming.
That he did. Indeed.
Only, yeah, the moment he attacked me, basically. Anything else I can forgive, but not attacking me. We have priorities here.
And as promised, I have prepared for you a fine prize.
A cloak of protection, eh? Nice.
However, there is another matter of which we must now speak.
Yes, speak free.
I must confess to you a bit of a problem has arisen. One which speaks to your expertise with the supernatural. We've sighted the floating hangman that haunts the Deadfire.
Oh, great. Ghost pirates. So now this will turn in the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Right. Well, have you any sketches of it? I wouldn't mind documenting the phenomenon.
A few somewhat crude ones. Not many who encounter the floating hangman live to tell the tale, or otherwise record it.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
This galleon, what likely remains of the Fonferros, is a frightful legend.
Yeah, it's in every bloody time, isn't it? It's always a fucking dead ship. I mean, sailors do need their own little reaper, I guess.
We have been losing ships at sea, Amika, and not to those Valera ship-hunting bastards. I believe the floating hangman may be our culprit.
Shouldn't it be more like a natural phenomenon occurring, just appearing and then done with it, I guess? But I'm imagining those ghost pirates going on the ship hunting expeditions.
Fortune favors us, as I have procured a survivor from such a recent sinking. You will consider what she has to say.
Yes, will I?
Come forth, Selenia. Quickly now, or I will run rivers of your lethargic blood.
Uh-huh. Sun blistered in the raw wound. The pirate regards you both with a discerning glare. She tongues a chapped bottom lip, but keeps quiet.
Well, spit it out, Selenia, and try not to embarrass me before our guest.
Of course, Captain. It might have pretty hard near the end, but I spit the tale as best as I can.
The pirate touches a spot at the base of her skull and winces. She glances off to the side, eyes black and full of hurt. Runs his eyes and rubs tightly between his brows.
Go on, Mom. Ready as I'm like to get me.
Well, where do we start? Well, you will think hard and recount every detail you can. Understand? Do it even if it hurts, even if it kills you.
Dying's all anyone's liable for. Just the when and how of it's the question.
Yeah, don't get smart with me, tell me story.
But it isn't time yet for me. No.
Don't care, tell story.
Saw my old crew slaughtered me, my best mates, and even a few I hated. They weren't but blood and meat in the end.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what living beings are. We're kind of like, bones, meat, some sinew, and other such nonsense. Don't get fucking philosophical. Just tell the story, bitch.
It branded the back of my eyes that moment. High seas. Nothing but blue all around. Then, mist so thick you could taste it. Ships sailed from within.
Which begs the question.
Out of nowhere.
A very important question. How did the mist taste?
Was a hunt. Not for loot, but for bodies. The ship, it looked
Well, you're looking for a weapon, it's not there, eh?
rotted. The crew, they were all undead. Couldn't stop them from boarding. Couldn't kill them. Couldn't even fight them in the end.
How the fuck were you taking my surprise on the open sea?
Me and my crew were adept. Alert. Always.
That's what you say.
No. Weren't no one gonna get the jump on us.
I like to differ. Just a little bit, because apparently you were.
What's a magic foul? Just sudden like, the winds died, the waters fell flat and the air got heavy. They turned sky and the sea both against us.
Why does this sound like, you know, a typical sailor story? Bit over embellished there.
Then this thick fog roiled up at midday. Without a sound, the Spectre ship skimmed right out. It was too late. We couldn't outsail it.
When precisely did this happen?
Dunno me. Drifted for days, maybe longer. Kept winking in and out after I ran out of drink.
So, just to recount the tale so far, as we know, the ship was emptied of sailors. She survived somehow, don't know yet how. And then she spent the next few days drinking until there was nothing left to drink and doing shit all while, you know, sitting around to spill the guts of her companions. A bit in bad taste, don't you think, little one?
One of mine found her no more than a week ago. Malnourished, dehydrated. The poor girl was scarcely able to speak.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm more than able to gabble now, aren't I? Could sail, too. No, you got no reason to keep me.
Again, her fingers hesitated close to her hip. Her fabric crinkled the air where a pistol might normally be strapped. Muscle ticks in Miranda's jaw, but he otherwise ignores her.
Perhaps there is something else you wish to ask of our guest before she departs from us.
The way he makes that sounds really bad, doesn't it? Also, I like that Idea's just sitting there smoking his pipe, going like, yes, yeah, very, very interesting. I'm just my little character just sitting next to him going like, yes, very interesting. They do look like a nice pair of thinkers, don't they? So, how do you survive the attack?
Calling me Craven? Huh, sure, I am.
You're a fucking pirate. Being craven is part of the deal. You're not your debt. Piracy is not so much about the heroics, it's about, you know, knowing when to fucking run away. So yeah, being craven is actually pretty much a compliment in these circles. We're not playing, you know, fucking Crusader Kings, where it's a negative trait.
Took a knock-in and I was out for a while. When I came to, they were eating Ganasco, our steward.
Well, sounds pleasant.
I dropped a dinghy and rode for it. Don't know why they didn't give chase.
Okay.
Don't much care me.
But at least you had the decency of actually taking a little dinghy for a spin, and, you know, not just sitting on the ship and drinking yourself crazy while looking at the guts of your companions. Good choice, woman. So, tell me about them, the undead.
They were dreadful. Some were clothed, like maybe they'd only recently died. Others weren't more than moving bones.
Well, I'd assume so. They are probably gonna get recruited and, you know, revived as undead, so still relatively fresh, zombie-like. And then over the course of, you know, centuries of service, they would probably fall apart. At least the clothing, that is. Actually, it's a bit of an interesting thing, because depending on how it goes, undead work really differently depending on which universe you're in. Because, well, in some cases, where it's obviously like magic, there's actually no rotting process any longer. So a zombie will stay a zombie forever, basically, because the flesh will just stop rotting any further from a certain decayed state. And the skeleton will, of course, stay a skeleton. Now, of course, that is something I always found rather interesting in zombie movies and the like. I mean, technically speaking, the best thing you can do is just try to wait it out, basically. Because, well, no matter how much, you know, a virus or whatnot animates the dead flesh and keeps it going, as long as it's still, you know, rotting, at some point, any zombie would, technically speaking, become unable to move because, well, the necessary muscles and the like wouldn't just be there. A skeleton can't move without magic. So, you should be able to wait out a zombie apocalypse, especially in summer. Doesn't really take that long for things to get, you know, to the point where just too many parts are missing. Of course, most zombie movies will either completely ignore the issue of that and go like, well, doesn't really matter now, does it? If there's no humans left. Or B, they're just going to be like, yes, let's give some half-hearted explanation. It really doesn't work out for me most of the times. Then again, I always found zombie movies to be more on the entertaining side of things than really the horror side. The concept is just too full of holes, honestly. Oh well, bit of an, sorry about that. But interesting enough, there have always been stories around about people not staying dead, Sometimes, just sometimes, it might seem prudent to take, the good old shovel that you use to dig the grave to the one who's supposed to be occupying its head and making sure that he actually stays dead. Because, since zombies apparently do need the brain, and hitting zombies in the head is one of the most prudent techniques. Well, apart from, but then again, they're not really technically speaking zombies. What was it called? The enemies in Dead Space, I think, was it? That one universe, it's actually kinda impossible to kill the enemies. If I understand it right, how the necromorphs that worked. Basically, all you can really do is cut parts of them so they stop being dangerous, but you don't really kill them, so they're still around, and they're like, what am I gonna do with that? Now I have a nice collection of assholes lying on the ground, looking all dangerous. Great. Very great. And I guess you can, nuke them to Valhalla until they're particles, I guess.
One was different. Her presence was overwhelming.
Oh, you say.
Heavy. Flames burned in the place of her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
The crew shambled hard to do her bidding, even the ones who seemed hardly aware.
I see.
Figured she was the captain, me.
Well, no shit, Sherlock.
There is a flag the floating hangman flies. A flag that once heralded the von Ferrus of Old Valia. It belonged to a Darkotsi paladin of some legend, one Lucia Rivan.
Well, that sounds pleasant.
But Selenia's knowledge is limited in this regard. Let us instead ask her of a subject she may know.
Well, that'll be all for the moment. Selenia cuts a glance to Franze for confirmation, and he dismissively waves her away, her black eyes narrow, and she raises her chin, defiant. But then he turns his full gaze to her, suddenly seething. She shrinks in on herself, is shaking. Besides, she reluctantly retreats.
She belongs to Aldis, who undoubtedly will come to claim her soon. But that is a problem for another time. One moment, Watcher.
The captain scolds at Selenia's retreating back, dark anger warming his cheeks. Well, Selenia is loyal to elders, and these adhere to the same principles as you. Wonder chases across his face. It lightens the color of his eyes.
How very clever of you.
Indeed.
Indeed. The White Kestrel and her crew were pledged to Aldis.
Which shouldn't really matter much, considering that we're talking about a problem for all of you bastards.
However, it is not by virtue of Aldis that Selenia yet lives, and I would have that well remembered. I can be a generous leader, you understand?
Yes, and you can be a ruthless one too, can't you?
Truly.
He grins, errant and dangerous. On his left cheek, his dimple cuts deep.
Allow me to cut to the heart of it.
Yes, yes.
Lucia Rivan, whose flag flies atop our spectral ship, was a Darkotsi paladin who died more than 200 years ago.
Which, in a universe of magic, doesn't really matter, because, well, if she can rise as an undead and become powerful enough to raise her own undead, she can be around for potentially forever. Kinda depends on, what the sort of magic actually keeps her going. But if the source is strong enough, centuries more, potentially.
It is my hope that uncovering the details regarding dear Rivan's fate in life may illuminate the nature of her undeath and how to defeat her galleon.
Well, it's the only thing we can go off. I mean, we can't just sail up to them and be like, hey, I have some questions. Purely from a scientific nature, of course, perspective. So please answer, maybe, potentially. I think we're gonna get murdered.
Unfortunately, the only soul who could possibly shine more light on our situation lies buried deep within Neketaka.
I see.
One Isir the Berethian, now well rotted, I presume.
Well, I've actually spoken with Isir. His bros hoist high up his forehead.
Meaning what by that last? You were able to read his soul, despite how much time has passed?
Well, you know, they say to dead tell no tales, but Ysera was quite talkative.
You're trepanning me. Must be.
But he shakes his head as if he's already accepted the truth of your words.
Well, Amika, I must ask that you enlighten me.
I mean, his jawbone was moving and words came out. The Parisian's a death guard now.
A death guard? How fascinating.
Indeed.
And terrible.
We also killed him.
I must of course presume that you've unearthed a promising lead for us.
Don't really remember.
Perhaps you were able to learn about Rivan's whereabouts, of where her spectral ship oft anchors.
Well, Lisa tracked Riven after she had become a death guard. They fought near the Isle of Dusk. Riven strokes his chin, his gaze contemplative.
I can summon to mind no island with such name. Likely it hides now behind another.
Well, isn't it
I will
always
charge
lovely?
my best chroniclers to track our isle through the centuries. I believe you're becoming an invaluable asset to the Principe.
I am an
And
invaluable
I
asset.
deeply value each of my assets. You must accept this token of my immense appreciation.
Well, let's hope so. Ronda clears his throat, then he tugs on the frilled cuffs of his sleeves, his posture more rigid than usual.
A matter of a rather delicate nature has arisen.
Why can nobody
One
do
which I
shit
believe
for
would
themselves?
benefit From your,
Ah.
let us say, expertise. An associate of mine is in need of a favor.
An associate, eh?
A favor that necessitates a great deal of discretion.
Yeah, you said so already.
See
Get to the
this
point.
way, and I will weight you with a considerable amount of coin.
Mm-hmm. What exactly would I be doing?
My associate conducts dealings with a group of traders of a sort. The
Oh, for
traders
fuck's sake,
are
just
having a
say
bit
that
of
it's
trouble
about
with their
smuggling
newest
shit.
stock.
Jesus Christ, man. Don't make this into something it's not. See, that's actually the one point that I really find annoying with the old blood here. As they try to make this all royal and nobility-like. Like, yes, a royal fleet instead of, you know, an arrangement of ships. The way they arrange themselves in a round table sort of fashion, they really try to make themselves something they're not. At the end of the day, they're bloody fucking pirates. They're lowlifes. And you know, you can dress yourself all nicely, and you can wear all the perfume you want. Deep down below, you still stink of shit and rot and many, many other nice things associated with you now. The very lowest stratum. Who might this associate be?
A wealthy and influential man. What more do you need to know?
How about the fucking name so I know where to fucking go? You idiot. And why the need for such digression, please?
It involves something of a sensitive topic among the Principi. I'll explain further once I can trust you're fully committed.
And you can trust me. I've done something for you already.
First, swear it. I have your word on pain of death, Amika.
Let's just glow at him going like, fuck you.
Buono. Then you're to head to Crookspur Island, where you'll meet
Oh, for
with
fuck's
Master
sake.
Kua.
You're in with the fucking slavers? Oh, for fuck's sake. Durante. That's a fucking idiotic move. Are you a fucking idiot? Oh, my head. My head actually hurts.
He runs the biggest slavers.
Yeah,
lodge
you
in the
don't
Deadfire.
fucking say.
However, they've run afoul of the locals. So now, their trade routes are under constant ambush.
Yeah, no shit. These guys are quite literally kidnapping the locals and selling them as fucking slaves. Is it any wonder that they would attack the people who do that? Are you a fucking idiot? Jesus Christ, Fernando. For the moment, I thought that you were actually an interesting character. I'm sitting like, is he just fucking stupid? Seraphim's mouth falls slightly open. Vertigo tickles the edge of your swords, as if you were peering over the edge of the world. The principal work with slavers.
Excellent goddamned question, Cap.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
No, it is my associate who does that dealing.
That still means that the Principe as a whole organization, because, you know, organizations do tend to get judged for what their people are doing, works with fucking slavers. You idiot.
My opinion on the trade is of little matter. It is legal, unlike many of our own activities.
Yes, but there are many things apart from pure legality to consider in such a business, isn't it? Yeah, so the principal were actually trying to, I guess, have some principles. Excuse the bad pun here, but I'm kind of, a bit exasperated with that sort of nonsense, going like, yes, look at us, we're so fine, we're so dandy, we're so far about, the average pirate who does all of nonsense just to stay alive. And then he's like, oh, by the way, we also deal with traders that, deal in humans. Kith, I guess, generally speaking. I'm sitting like, okay, all of your argumentations have been kind of weakened by that particular argument you just given me. Just pointing that out.
Since when be the fucking laws of Kith of any goddamn concern of the likes of us?
Well, I'll handle it.
Flogging fuck.
Stefan grows, his nostrils flickering above a curved lip and crooked teeth. An ice-cold sliver of loathing and betrayal slides between your ribs and into the space between your lungs. Stefan turns away, the feeling fades.
Gellarde, I knew I could count on you. Here,
I
I'll
know
mark
where it
Crookspur
is.
on your charts. When you get there, speak with Master Kua. Tell him I've sent you, and he'll fill you in on what he needs.